Good evening, blessings. Welcome back to another episode of All Over It podcast. Yeah. Today is episode 67. Today in August the 10th, 2026. And today's episode is entitled Everything Happens for a Reason. You know, trusting God's plan through life's ups and downs. Yeah. Hang a lie, God bless. Without him, we ain't going nowhere. But yeah, welcome back to another episode. Like I say, today is 67. Last week we had an interview, a really powerful interview, and yeah, it went really well. We had a good conversation, and yeah, now we here back at it again. Another episode, another good conversation we're gonna have here. But it's only with me now. Yeah. But yeah, like I say, we gonna always come with good value for you. Always. Stay no question. Not one day will it not be. Check. So I got some little announcements I want to share, but I can probably share that in the end. But one thing I could say for sure is I'll be honest. Last week was a kind of tumultuous, tumultuous type of week. It had its ups, it had its downs, it had moments where things was good, and moments where I really had to remind myself to stay grounded, but that's why we're here today. Today we're going to talk about it. Check. We're going to talk about life and the fact that everything happens for a reason. And yeah, when we realize that, such as life, we can kind of navigate life a little better, a little easier, a little smoother. So, yeah, like I said, that's why we're here today. So, I want to start by saying sometimes life just feel like a roller coaster, or is a roller coaster, whatever you want to term it. But, some days everything feel good. You're feeling productive, things progressing, and you're feeling optimistic. But then suddenly something happens, maybe your plans change, or maybe you get some bad news. Someone maybe disappoints you, something doesn't work out. Sometimes it isn't just one thing. Sometimes it'll just be like a barrage, all kind of different things, as they say. When it rains, it pours. One thing after another. Check. Bottom line, sometimes you don't even get time to recover from one thing before something else comes. But our last part of life, we cannot control everything that happens. What we can control is how we respond, you know? And once we realize that we can't control everything that happens and we focus on the things that we can control and try to not let those things that we can't control consume us too much, because God has a plan, and once we trust in God's plan, everything will work out, so that's why the key thing is everything happens for a reason. Once we remember that, we'll, like I say, navigate life a little more better. Again, things can kind of roll off our shoulders better because we can realize when something happened, like, everything happens for a reason, you know? You don't always know why something happened. Sometimes you may understand it tomorrow, maybe next month, maybe even 5 years from now. Sometimes you never really fully understand why something happens. But that's where your faith comes in. That's where when you have faith and you have that strong belief, you get a reassurance. You tell yourself, God, I don't understand this right now, but I trust you. You know, like I just say, or I say sometimes, God knows what happened. He knew it would happen before it happened. He knows why it happened. And I trust that He's going to see me through it. And that's basically the foundation. Once we really give ourselves that realization that no matter what happening, no matter what we facing, that God is in the midst, and before it even happened, He know why, when, how, where, all of that. We can trust it because, like they say, God don't forsake you. So He gonna put you in this situation and just leave you there to fend for yourself. No, you're in the situation for a reason, to learn and grow. But like I said, God is in the midst of all things. So I don't know about you, but I grew up in a very spiritual home. You check, and I had aunts and loved ones around me that used to be heavy in the Bible, heavy in Bible study, and those type of things. And I remember my aunt, one of them, God rest her. So she used to have this line. She used to say, God is omnipotent, He's omniscient and omnipresent. You check, and as I get older, I understand it better. And like I say, I guess all of that just give me like a slight reassurance, like a slight peace. Make me think on the story, like they say, when Jesus was in a boat with His disciples and they was in a storm and He was in the back sleeping, like just a peace, a calmness, even through the storm. But yeah, bottom line, for those who not familiar, when they say God is omnipotent, omnipotent, yeah, all powerful, you know, He is bigger than all things. Like they say, Almighty, magnificent, all kind of different terms and they use to reference God, but all of them just mean the same thing, that He is all powerful. Nothing can tap Him. No other power or force or anything can tap Him. He's God. You check. So omnipotent means he's stronger than whatever situation that you're going through. So the situation may feel bigger than you, but it isn't bigger than God. You check? And like I say, omniscient, which means he knows all. Check, all know it. So omnipotent, all powerful, omniscient, all knowing. He knows what happens before it even happened. He knows what happened, what is happening, what is going to happen. So he know what happening before it even happened. He know what going to happen in the future. And he know what you're going through now. So they need to say like you start going through that and you forget about it, turn your face like away. No, he right there with you, even when you're going through the adversity. So like I say, he know what going on, but then he right there with you. Omnipresent. Check, always present. Even when you feel alone, you're not walking through the situation without him. You check? Because, like I say, he bigger than all the situations. He know everything about the situation, true and true. So he know the way for you to get through it. You check? And he know that you're going to get through it. Maybe you don't know, but he know it. So it's like, yeah, don't fret. If God already knows what is ahead of me, why should I allow fear to control me? Or let me say better yet, fear of the unknown to control me. That's where faith come in. Like the Bible say, faith of a mustard seed. You gotta believe. You gotta have that trust that even when you can't see it, you know he ain't going to disappoint you. You know that no matter what, you could depend on him. Check? Like, no matter the situation, no matter the situation, God is in the midst of all things. Like I say, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. So just how the situation come, he don't map out a path for you to navigate to get out. It's just now you to have that trust and belief and faith that he going to see you through. You know? So like I say, similar to the story of Jesus when he was in a boat with his disciples, rough waters, everybody afraid, but he know that God going to see them through, so he ain't fearing. But then too, they had other stories where God showed people a path, but because they ain't trust it, they look back or their focus was broken and their faith was get shaky. Let me say like that. And because of that, they end up suffering. You know? So yeah, you have to trust whole heart, and that's way, like I say, faith our must succeed. Just having that belief, that trust, that like they say, you gotta faith is trusting in something that you ain't seeing, but knowing that it there or knowing that it going to come. So it's like they gotta trust fall thing where like You just let yourself fall back and you trust that somebody behind there going to catch you. You know, a lot of people don't like that at all because a lot of people don't trust people. A lot of people have trust issues. But things like that are very powerful because when you do that, people feel like they could trust you. And that's something special in this day and age, to be honest, you know. But apart from that, that building trust is what has made people connect, you know. You're going vibes better with that person because you feel now stronger that you could trust that person. A lot of times people don't vibe with people good because they don't trust them. Bottom line, in this day and age, you got a lot of just people just negative. We got like a lot of negativity out in the world, negativity rampant set check. So for me, I ain't got no time for all that negative vibes and thing. Like I just try spread positivity, spread love, love and blessings always. You check. I can't tell you I don't get vexed. Be honest. I can't tell you I don't ever get angry. That'll be a lie. You check. But yeah, still I just try to go through life with a more positive outlook on life, you know, and try to spread positivity because I got so much hate in the world. So I just try to spread love and blessings. Check, you know. Sometimes it'll feel like you're battling against the multitude in the sense of like is you one against many who on the negative side, but still, even if you're part of the minority, that don't mean you can't make a difference. Or that don't mean you should change yourself to conform to the others. You know, and that's the next thing too. Now. Try and come on here to really talk about that. But rightfully, a lot of people in this day and age too, that's what they does be too. They just conform to what's around them. Like I can't even just say like conform to their friends or what somebody tell them. Or like literally some people they just change and switch up based on who they are. So maybe they might be one way now and then maybe in a week, in a month after they go around a different group of people, they a whole different person. And it's like all of that ain't good. When you change yourself to fit in, when you try to be somebody else to be accepted, you don't get far because that's not you. You know, gotta be yourself. Anyways, I digress a little bit. But like I said, God is in the midst of all things, and no matter what you're going through, even when the seas seem rough, you check, you gotta stay 10 toes down. You gotta stay steadfast so that you can see yourself through on the other side. Check. So on that note, I could say rough seas makes a stronger sailor. Now, I had a line, there is this quote I love that resonates with this. Basically, the quote goes, smooth seas never made a good sailor. So basically saying rough seas make stronger sailors, meaning when everything's smooth and fine and dandy, you don't really get to better yourself. You don't get to elevate. You don't get to prove yourself. put your skills to the test. You know, imagine you're sailing and the water gets rough, the winds pick up, the waves start hitting. You can't necessarily stop the storm. You check in, like you could just say, hey, stop, and it just subside. You know, you know, avatar. Let me say like you check. But what can you do? Let's say you're sailing and that situation arises. You can't stop the storm, but you can hold the wheel. You can adjust your sails. You can stay focused and keep moving forward. You check. Most sailors will tell you when you reach rough seas, high waves and things, don't try to turn around. Because you turn over. Literally, the wave gonna just come and turn you over. Gotta take it head on. Check. Any sailors, any boatman in the chat could tell me if I'm wrong. Check. But I know this for a fact because I've been around a lot of boatman. I've been on boat myself here and there. A pinch. Pinch. Check. But that's one thing I know for sure. They always tell you when the wave is high, don't try say turn wrong and turn back and things. You gotta try take it. You gotta find your opening if you turn back, turn wrong. But you can't just say yeah, waves coming you and turn around. Nah, sir. You're gonna be turned over. Anyways, the bottom line is eventually the storm passes. You check, the storm is not forever, and the storm is not infinite. You check, it will pass. When a rain come down, a raining don't just rain and don't stop. It'll stop. Might rain a couple minutes, a couple hours, but then it stop. That too shall pass. Check, so whatever it is, just take it in stride because you don't become a strong sailor sailing only on calm seas, So meaning in life, sometimes you gotta go through things to really grow. And one thing I could say, it is really mature when you go through things. Like it does bring you like a wisdom and a strength and a discernment, a resilience that is unmatched. Like you gotta live life to know what life is about. Like you can't just leave other people keep telling you about life. You gotta live your own life. You check? Yeah. Yeah, you could sit down and talk to people, they could tell you the experiences and things. Yeah, that's great. Testimonial, story time, storytelling is nice. You check? Nice to sit around the campfire and talk about all the experiences we had, stories and things, but then they actually gotta go and live the life. Okay? Yeah, man. You check. So like I say, it does get like a maturity and a wisdom, a courage, like a resilience that after you go through something, it's like, bye. Wow, I thought that was going to beat me. And I still here. It didn't beat me. So like after you go through that, it's like, no man, I could overcome anything. If that ain't beat me, and that day I was. hefty. So if that ain't beat me, then I can overcome anything. That's the mentality. You check, so you get that strength, you get that resilience, that wisdom from things you probably wouldn't have voluntarily choose to experience. When life just come and slap you across your face, checking, yo, I hear, don't think everything is fine and sweet and dandy. That's when you know, okay, this is where I can grow. Real talk. It'll be crazy. It'll be crazy. Like, and it is a lot of times it has come right after you feel like everything is good. Right after you're checking everything nice, man. Things going good, man. Something just come, or you forget, man. You forget. It's life you're living. We in reality, not la la land. We in a fantasy. Real thing. What? Yo, real talk. But don't let that moment convince you it's the end. That's my message to you. You check? Honestly, this probably might be the strongest section in this episode. This might be the section that you might have to pull back up and go watch back, go replay this video and check in by, yeah, by what all of us say there. Because that's the one thing. We need to not let the moment convince us all is lost, everything is done, life is over. Like, trust me now. God bless. I never had, or at least not since I've been a grown adult, I had no moment where I feel like I wanted to do any harm to myself. God bless. You know what? I can't say that I never had situations where I felt like, why this is it, life is over here right now. Like, yeah, yeah. Check. And in times like that, you just feel like, it's like you convince yourself, like, by yeah, this the end. Like, life is over right here. You check, but yeah, like I say, I want you, don't let the moment convince you it's the end. Real talk. You check? So when you're inside a difficult situation, it may feel permanent. But think about things you've survived before. I want you to think about something you went through that you thought, by all is lost. And then somehow something happened and just open that door for you to just everything to just walk out, just fall in place like Tetris. Like there was probably moments where you thought, how am I going to get through this? Yet here you are, right here on YouTube, on Facebook, right here with me. Yeah. So you are watching, whatever you're dealing with right now, I want to tell you this moment is not necessarily the destination. And I want you to not make the temporary situation a permanent conclusion. Yeah, me good. I can run it back. Like I tell you, whatever you're going through right now, this moment is not necessarily a destination. And I want you to not make this temporary situation be a permanent conclusion. Check. Serious. I want that soak in. I want that get digested and really like settle because that's why we're here today. Yeah, yeah. So to you, let me say, maybe the redirection is the plan. Maybe whatever you're going through is something that leading you to the abundant blessings that you've been waiting on. Like sometimes we pray in God make this work, but perhaps God is saying that's not where I want you to go. That's not where I taking you. You check? You wanted that, let me say, opportunity or that relationship or that business deal, that job, whatever outcome, and when it doesn't happen, we feel defeated. But as they say, when one door closes, another one opens, so what if the closed door was really protecting you? And what if the setback that you felt was actually redirecting you to where you had to go? You check? What if something you considered a loss was actually positioning you? Yeah. I want you to think about these things now. Real talk. I want you to think about what I'm saying because I know, it ain't only me. Yeah, we say like that. You check? So sometimes we just gotta like pay attention to the signs. Sometimes, like I say, we so caught up in what we want that we ain't seeing that maybe we want five, but they got 20 waiting for us around the corner, you know? So, like I say, sometimes we so busy focused on that door that closed that we don't notice that another one is opening or that another one is open in front of us. Like, like I say, so much different things, opportunities, jobs, business deals, relationships. Maybe that's the best example. Sometimes we so focus on, but yeah, I like this person and I want to be with this person, and maybe things looking rocky or things ain't going so hot with that person, but you checking, yeah, that person. But then maybe things with that person, let me say, end or get shaky, and like you might have somebody in your life, or maybe you might meet somebody that actually they are actually a person that you rightfully been waiting for. But then because you're so focused on where you lost, you ain't even seen where you got. You check, like, I don't know, life is funny. Life is weird, like mysterious, mystical. Yeah, but it's weird, but it ain't easy. Life ain't easy at all. And you just gotta try to understand the natural mystic and try to flow with it. Because it is a flow. It's just like an ebb and flow, like the ocean going in and out, or like just like a river flowing, like doing what you gotta do, going where you gotta go. Just we just try to go against the grain, we just try to go against the current, go against, and then fighting and paddling and wondering why we ain't going nowhere. Check. Ah, if you really pay attention to what's going on and just like do what we gotta do and leave life take its course, we gonna reach where we gotta reach. This check. Yeah. So for the person that's going through it right now, I want to speak to you. Honestly, this part ain't even about me. This part is for you who watch it. You check, who feel like carrying the world on your shoulders. I know maybe you're dealing with financial pressure, maybe family problems, maybe business struggles, grief, disappointment, uncertainty, things that you don't feel comfortable telling nobody. What I have to tell you is keep going, believe in yourself, trust in yourself. Not because everything is easy, but because present circumstances don't determine your future. Check. It's how you get out, it's how you solve the problem, it's what makes you stronger. You might be in the storm right now, but that doesn't mean you're going to live in the storm forever. Like I say earlier, storm does end. And so just trust in yourself. Trust that you're going to navigate it. Trust that you're going to get out and see yourself out on the other side of that storm in the calm, nice, sun shining weather, sun shining back on you, nice breeze blowing, life good again. Check. It'll be like that. Sometimes we just have to go through a little trials and tribulations, keep us humble, you know, keep us grounded, keep us remembering like, yeah, we ain't perfect and we ain't God, we ain't like, oh, all that. We just human. We we all equal, we all the same, we all unique, but we all the same. You check. We all have our own uniqueness to us, but all people, all of us, man, woman, child, all people. And once we could respect each other better and understand, like, okay, maybe I have my ways, but my ways is not your ways, life will go smoother. Like I say, we have to go through things. Like that's just how God created the world. That's the simplest way I could say. Like life, as I say, life ain't always peaches and cream. The check ain't always be like cookies with cherry on top, cookies and cream, and all kind of sweetness and deliciousness and happiness and joy. It doesn't always be like that. It come with some tears and some sadness and some anger and yeah. But like I just say, if you don't experience the bad or the negative, you don't appreciate the good. You check like if we live all our life just eating salt alone, literally, just salt, salt, salt from a child, salt. The day we taste sugar, that gonna be the wall. Like if you get where I'm coming from, like in life, that's why they say yin and yang. You need good and bad. You need like up and down. You need, you get what I'm saying? Like you need both sides of the coin, heads and tails. Why? So you could understand life. It might sound crazy, but that's how you understand life. That's how you understand how life works because you get to appreciate things more because you know what you went through for it. So similarly, like somebody who maybe work a hard laborious job for a couple of years to buy a car, finally buy the car, they're going to cherish that car because they know the blood, sweat, and tears they put in to get that car. As opposed to somebody who don't know the value of the money, don't care, just checking, okay, yeah, car, I got money, I can buy a car. Jump in the car, just driving it any kind of how. Soon they're going to get run down because they ain't caring for it. Why? Because they ain't have that, they ain't had the experience, so they ain't have that affection, they ain't have that added enthusiasm. Maybe that ain't the word I was looking for, but still, I'll run with it. But you get what I'm saying? Like when you don't experience the bad, you don't appreciate the good, and vice versa. You check? So when you don't experience the good, say that right? Yeah, when you don't experience the good, all you know is bad. So even in those situations that somebody maybe all they know is bad, negative, like all their life it's been negative situation. When you come now and show them good, it's like, what is this? Why this person behaving like this? Like, they had to behave like this. I accustomed to this, like as we know, it would be toxic, but like, I accustomed to this type of dynamic or this type of communication and this person actually communicating. You check, for example, is like if you never get both sides, you're oblivious to the other side. Simple as that. Like if you never experience bad, it's like an unknown. So everything is just good. Like life been sweet. Like think on maybe like a child have been sheltered all their life, maybe grew up wealthy. So, life been good for them all their life. And then one day something happened and maybe they lose it all and they gotta actually now live a normal life and try to figure out things and pay bills and figure out how they can actually survive life. And a lot of people that, let me say, have that story, they don't know what to do, they don't know where to go, they don't know how to handle anything for their own self. Why? Because they never had to. You know, if you never had to pay taxes in your life, when the day come that whether the tax man come and tell you gotta pay taxes, whether you're accountant, whether you get a letter in the mail, however it is, when that situation comes, you don't know what to do, you don't know where to start because you never do it. So it's the same concept. It's like I say, I always say, you can't appreciate the good if you never experience the bad. So I guess, like I say, all these things will just be reassurance for me that, although things might seem tumultuous now, I know this storm going to pass and I can come out better on the other side, stronger, more wiser, more resilient, and just better, plain. Check, like, So yeah, that's why I could say you're being strengthened. You check, even like how I had my episode a few weeks ago entitled God Did. It's like when you go through your adversity, you come out stronger on the other side. And all you could do is look back and say, bah, yeah, well, I went through that. And look at here now, better than before. Now I now I know what to do if I ever go through that again, you know? And a lot of us, we going through adversity, meaning like going through tough times, we're going through things that rough and we don't know what to do, like things just difficult, and yeah, one thing I could say, what you're saying ain't to say like, yeah, nothing bad ain't going to happen to me because I trust God, but it's more like whatever happens, I trust God to give me the strength, wisdom, and direction to face it and get through it, you know? And like I say, like the Bible, if you really observe it, a lot of people say they don't believe in it and they don't read it, or it's just stories and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's if you really pay attention, it's stories about people, and it show you how faith and belief get them through things. Some of them may get through because the faith was probably weak, and others' faith was strong. Look, like enough stories. Daniel in the lion's den. Which one of us, which one of you there would go sit down? Let me say, you go by the zoo and you go by the lion um, exhibit, and you jump inside and go sit down in there with them, checking, yeah, okay, I ain't here with the lion then now. Which one are you going to do that? And in the lion's den, sitting down with them, relaxing, chilling until you get let out. And let's be honest, it's a lion, so what a lion gonna do? Eat you. Especially if they ain't throw no food. Or lion might be checking, okay, look, the food come to us now. Yo! They check. When you got faith, nothing could stop you. Not even fire. Look, story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Literally get thrown in fire and stand up in it like nothing happened, like they were bathing, like somebody just threw them in a shower. And they just stand up in there like, okay, yeah, man, this water feel nice. Fire, burn up the people that threw them in, and they are alive. Why? Because when you trust in God, He can see you through even the most difficult situations, the most amazing, miraculous, and mysterious. I tell you, mystical, magical. It's like, yeah, things you can't explain. Because it's like, how these man stand up in there, everybody else born up, how they man go walk out with their clothes on like nothing happened. Just blow people mind. And this is why people don't understand because they checking on her. Just talking nonsense. No, you are They write nonsense in this book and just got people reading it and following it. But if we really was to like put things in context, understand, think back on like how things was back in the days, they wasn't advanced like us. I ain't gonna like something sense. Like they wasn't advanced like us. So what they see, if they can't explain it, they just put it in whatever words they think it is. You check? So we too gotta try to stop read too much into things. Like just try to understand what's going on. And if you don't understand, they got ways to try to understand. You check? But bottom line, I say a lot to say. Sometimes we just get redirected and we doesn't want to go down the path that we are now. But if you really look at it, you're probably being strengthened. You know, like I say, when you go through these adversities and you come out on the other side, you come out stronger, you come out better than you were when you went in. You check if nothing else, now you know how to handle that situation. But usually in situations like that, you come up with a lot more than that. Like you know yourself better, like you get more self-awareness. You learn better about what you like, what you don't like, you know, how to navigate what you like, what you don't like, maybe even how to communicate what you like, what you don't like. You check? But bottom line, you come out stronger because, like I said, it ain't about nothing bad gonna happen because God with me. You know, it's about whatever happens, I trust God going give me the strength, wisdom, and direction to face it and get through it. You know, and that's powerful because faith doesn't necessarily mean the absence of storms. It just changes how you walk through them. How you walk through them with confidence, knowing that you're gonna get through it. You check? So like me, I don't need to know everything that's coming. I just need enough faith to take that next step. Like I use an example or analogy some weeks ago. It's like walking on a step that you don't see in the step. Like when you raise your foot to step on the step, like the step is invisible, you know? So the eyes to your eyes ain't got no step there. But you still because what? Not just because you can't see it, meaning it ain't there. You trust it there. So you marching, going, because you know them steps there. The check. And like I say, with God, it's like climbing steps or climbing a ladder. And just as you raise your foot, the step come for you to put your foot down. Check. So okay, you raise your foot, the step come for you to put your foot down. Like yeah, man, it's crazy, man. God, mysterious, man. Natural mystic. Bob Marley know what he do when he made us. Natural mystic. Life is just naturally mystical. Like I guess that's why I like gardening and like nature stuff because when you sit on like outside and like nature and thing and you observe how things moving, how things doing and thing, it's like yo, how you come up with all of these things, how you come to make these things down to the finest. But anyways, so yeah, like I say, this is my message to you, for people who going through it right now. You know, just consider it like you're being strengthened, you know, you're being like in the gym. So, these adversities that you're going through is like little weights that you just lifting. And like I say, when you get through that adversity and be like, wow, that's strong, oh, boy, yeah, boy. Mhm. Check. So, I know there is always a light at the end of it. Check. So, when you're deep inside the tunnel, you can't see the exit. When you're going through a tunnel, you ain't got the lights. It's darkness. So, like I say, that doesn't mean that the exit doesn't exist. Sometimes you just have to keep going, one step, 1 mile, one whatever, and eventually you're gonna start seeing that light. Check. And yeah, the most I could tell you is don't stop going because you can't see the light yet. Like a lot of people just give up. They give up on themselves. They don't trust in themselves and they don't believe in themselves, and because of that, they just feel like bye, they can't make it. But yeah, most I could say is in life we gotta stay steadfast. We gotta keep pushing. We gotta keep moving because things ain't easy, especially in this day and age. Especially in this year, 2026, this year right now, wow. We just being bombarded, from what this virus or this disease, and Trump doing trumpetness, the sounding trumpets. Like left, right, and center. People passing, like the heat. Oh God, the heat is on. Like, wow. As I've been saying, it's like we under sufferation these past couple weeks. Real talk. Real talk. But what we gonna do? All we could do is trust that God and see us through. You know? What else we could do? So yeah. But yeah, like I tell you in the beginning, last week was kind of a tumultuous week for me. But I'm still here. I'm still standing. I'm still working. I'm still executing. And most importantly, I still trust in God and He direction for me. So most I could say is I may not always understand everything that happens in my life. I may not understand why certain things happen when they happen. But I trust God's plan always. Check. I trust that He's in the midst of all things, every single thing. Like I say, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. You check, and I trust that whatever comes, you're going to see me through it. As how I want you to look at life. I want you to have a similar outlook, because like I say, in this day and age, a lot of negativity out there. But if we could share and spread a little positivity, we're doing good. Check. So finally, like I say, everything happens for a reason. So just trust the process, trust God's timing. He's never too early, never too late, always right on time. And yeah, just keep pushing, keep believing in yourself, and continue executing with excellence. Check. And blessings and love, my people. Blessings and love. Ha! Look at life. Thank you very much, my fellow Toastmaster, TM Emilyn. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome, and I appreciate that encouragement. Real talk. Yeah, man. What can I say? Whenever I do these episodes, I just do these episodes based on the inspiration God gave me. So, like, of course, the interviews, I had to reach out to people with a schedule the interview, but even those, God. So I have to give him some type of credit for sure. But yeah, like this is something that was on my heart. And like I said once before, let's try to keep things contemporary, recent, relevant. And yeah, as I mentioned, due to how last week was, I felt like by this is why I had to comment on. Like then I just wanted to comment on. Like I don't feel like I have to. Like I say, like literally like God inspire me to come and deliver this message to you, the listener. So whoever listening that needed to hear this message, blessings. Almost I could say. Check, but yeah, like I say, sometimes God will just give me the inspiration, just tell me, yo, this what you gotta talk about today. And let's just put it together. So you want me to say, just follow it suit, man. Like I say, I handle and control what I can handle and control. Everything else, you see. So once we got our trust in him, we're gonna be good. We're gonna be alright. That's the thing. A lot of people don't they don't believe. They don't trust that we can see it through, see it, you know, advance and elevate. Like people just don't believe in themselves. Bottom line, they don't have that self esteem, that self courage that they could see themselves through whatever adversity they're going through. And as they say, God don't give us more than we could bear, but some people just, yeah, the mind is a battlefield, like I just say. And in the mind is where we just suffer the most. A lot of people, you check, a lot of people, they battling with a lot of negative thoughts, and the negative thoughts does win. So me, I just try to stay positive. I can't tell you I don't have negative thoughts. Trust me, with a brain like mine, that'll be running 24 knots an hour. Bye. That'll just be, yee, bye. Trust me, negative thoughts to come. I'll just rebuke that and just push that to the side, checking that. You can't stop me. Yeah. Just, like, you ever see like them ones where like something try come at you and you just brush, like a mosquito or something, like just fly, like a fly flying around you, just like fan that way, like stop harassing me. You nothing to me. Check. I'm gonna kill you, I go get my zapper, Like that's the mindset. It's like we can't leave nothing coming through we have at all. Nothing. We can't leave nothing through we have for our focus. Through we have for our game. Serious. Cause that way come to do. The devil come, if not but to kill, rob, and steal. You check? Yeah. If he ain't to do that, he ain't coming. So guess what? When he come around, guess what he come to do? Lie, steal, rob you. Yo, so guess what? You just gotta brush you off like a fly. Yeah, cause you bigger than that. Like I had a cousin used to say, "Mogi bigger than that." That's it. Check you bigger than that. That thing ain't nothing to we. Adversity is nothing to we. Now. I just say a lot of times I laugh in the face of adversity because I know it just come to like trip me up and throw me off. But what? When you headstrong and you stay steadfast and firm in who you are, I can't shake you. Yeah, not even like an earthquake. You can't get shake. I tell you, man. Look, my people, it's love and blessings. Like that's all I had to say for tonight. That's all I come with for you tonight. Like I tell you, I come. This was on my heart. I share it. God bless. God can bless you. Hopefully, He can bless me too for sharing His message. But what? I just doing what He put me on to do. Check in a way that's pleasing to Him and service to you. So that is it. Check. But yeah, my people is love always. Check every week. I hear her every Monday, and it's just love. We spreading love, not hate. The world got enough hate. Trust and believe that. The world got enough hate and sadness and anger and sickness and just anguish. Yeah. Got enough of that. Check so. At least me, for sure. I come to spread love, but I come to give you motivation, give you encouragement, give you inspiration, give you knowledge, anything I could share that I know that I checking by this gonna be valuable to you. I sharing it. So whether it's AI, whether it's financial literacy, whether it's just calculations, whether it's just like I say a little motivation. That's what I there for. That's what this podcast. Check. So I always tell her, you tell a friend, we're doing good things, we're doing God's work. Tell them, look, all over it podcast. That's where it's at. Tell them, don't worry. Maybe they ain't know yet, but they gonna know just now. Yeah. And don't worry, we keeping things going. Just know, working on another interview for next week. So keep your eyes out. Check because yeah, we working on things always now. We don't stay sleeping. We don't leave nothing keep we down. We keeps advancing. We keeps elevating. And realize that I always say we, because I ain't talking about me alone. And when I say we, I mean me and my family and my friends alone. No, I mean me. You. Check. Yeah. So, yeah. More. Just saying, get all the details on the upcoming interview. But trust me, good stuff always. I always come into you with value, and you're going to always leave all over the podcast feeling positive, feeling uplifted, feeling just genuinely positive. Check. So yeah, my people, I appreciate you. It's love alone. Like I say, big up my boy Selwyn one time in the chat. They don't know. Yeah, my brother. Check. Blessings. Hope everything good with everybody. Hope you guys have a blessed week ahead. And as usual, you can catch me here next week for sure. Consistency. Catch you here next week, same time, 7 p.m. Monday, right here on All Over Podcasts, where we are uncovering it all. See ya, my people. Love and blessings. Catch you later.